Yes, so today we are going to discuss assignment 1, 2, and 3. So I hope that you all have tried all the problems very hard, and even if you were not able to solve some problems, it is perfectly fine. So the trying is important, right? You need to try each and every problem very hard. That is important. So if you have got the answer, then you can verify your solution with me. And if you have not got the answer, then you can understand the problem, you can understand the idea, you can learn the method, you can learn the technique, right? So it is perfectly fine if you don't get. And once you understand the solution, then do it again without seeing on your own. That is very important. So let us start with the first question of assignment 1. So in the first question, it was given that you need to prove that 3 never divides n square plus 1 for every positive integer n, that is for all n belongs to n. 3 does not divide n square plus 1. This symbol is for all. We have used it many times. This is belongs to symbol, and n is nothing but set of natural numbers. So we are using these symbols very often. So by this time you should be comfortable using these symbols. So we need to prove that 3 never divides n square plus 1. So try to see how I am approaching this problem. What I'm saying is any number n, any natural number n, it can be either of the form 3k, or it can be of the form 3k plus 1, or it can be of the form 3k plus 2, isn't it? Yes, because any number n, if you divide with 3, you'll get remainder 0, or you'll get remainder 1, or you'll get remainder 2. And 3k plus 2, I can treat this as equivalent to 3k minus 1. Yes, because you add 1 and subtract 1, it is also equivalent to 3k minus 1. So I can say that any natural number is either of the form 3k, or 3k plus 1, or 3k minus 1. Now, I mean, if I consider all these three cases, that is 3k, 3k plus 1, and 3k minus 1, it means I have considered all the natural numbers possible, right? Because any natural number can be one of these three forms. So now let us calculate n square plus 1 in each case, right? And let us prove that in each case, this 3 does not divide n square plus 1. So in this case, if n is 3k, then n square plus 1 is how much? It is 9 square plus 1. So this is also some 3l plus 1, right? So you can see that here 3 does not divide n square plus 1 if n is equal to 3k. And similarly, if n is equals to 3k plus 1, then n square plus 1 is how much? It is 9k square plus 6k plus 1, right? So, or instead of doing this, let me write it directly that this is 3k plus 1 whole square plus 1, and this is nothing but 3l plus 1 plus 1. So this is 3l plus 2, right? So here I have used the property that ax plus b whole power n is nothing but of the type lambda into a plus b power n, right? Ax plus b whole power n is multiple of a plus b power n. This we have already discussed so many times. This is multiple of a plus b power n. Using the binomial theorem, you can see that this is true. So I have used that here, that 3k plus 1 whole square is multiple of 3 plus 1 power 2, that is 1. So this is also 3l plus 2. So then clearly it leaves a remainder 2. So 3 does not divide n square plus 1 in this case also. And similarly, if n is of the form 3k minus 1, then n square plus 1 is 3k minus 1 whole square plus 1, which is again of the form some 3l dash, right? Plus 1 plus 1. So this is 3l dash plus 2, right? Here we have used, again, this is nothing but 3k minus 1 whole square is 3 multiple plus minus 1 whole square. So that is 1. That is the property I am using again and again, that ax plus b whole power n is lambda a plus b power n. So this is again leaving a remainder 2. So 3 does not divide n square plus 1 in this case also. So finally, if we take any natural number, right, that natural number will be of one of these three forms, 3k, 3k plus 1, or 3k minus 1. And each and every form we have proved that 3 does not divide n square plus 1. So I can say that from all these three cases, I can say that 3 does not divide n square plus 1 for all n belongs to n. So I hope this is clear. Let us move to the second question. So in the second question, you need to find all natural numbers n such that n plus 1 whole square by n plus 7 is an integer. So you need to find all natural numbers n for which n plus 1 whole square by n plus 7 is an integer. So you can do this in this way, that you can divide n plus 1 whole square, that is n square plus 2n plus 1 with n plus 7, and then you can see the remainder, and you can see that remainder should be divisible by n plus 7. That is one method. But there is one more method. You can put n plus 7 is equals to k, right? Put n plus 7 is equals to k, and since n should be an integer, this means that k is also integer, right? So then your problem will become n plus 1 whole square by n plus 7. This is nothing but n is what it is, k minus 7 plus 1 whole square by k, right? So denominator I have just made it as k because this will make my problem easier to simplify, right? Otherwise you can do by this method also. So then this is nothing but k square minus 14k plus 1 by k, isn't it? Sorry, I have made a mistake. This is k minus 6 whole square, right, by k. So again, k minus 6 whole square is k into some lambda plus minus 6 whole square by k. See, this property ax plus b whole power n is multiple of a plus b power n. This I am using again and again. Yes. So this is again nothing but lambda plus 36 by k. Yes. So this should be an integer. We can see that lambda is already an integer. So this implies that 36 by k must be integer. 36 by k must be integer. And 36 by k must be integer means then k must divide 36, right? That is k is a factor of 36. So what are the factors of 36? You can take as plus minus 1, plus minus 2, plus minus 3, and plus minus 4, plus minus 6, plus minus 9, plus minus 12, plus minus 18, and plus minus 36. Fine. So these are all the possible factors of 36. And finally, k is nothing but n plus 7. This is equal to all these values. So then you can find all the values of n. That is minus 7 plus minus 1, minus 7 plus minus 2, minus 7 plus minus 3, and so on. So you will get all the possible values of n for which our n plus 1 whole square by n plus 7 is an integer. So let us move to the third question of assignment 1. Here you need to prove that a minus c divides ab plus cd if and only if. If and only if means I double f, right? We have discussed about if and only if, by implication, implication, all these things. If and only if a minus c divides ad plus bc. So if you see the question, you need to prove that a minus c divides ab plus cd if and only if a minus c divides ad plus bc. Fine. Now you need to prove two cases here, right? First problem is you need to prove that if a minus c divides ab plus cd, this implies that a minus c also divides ad plus bc. This is the first part which you need to prove. And in the second part, you need to prove the converse of this. Converse means that if a minus c divides ad plus bc, then this should imply that a minus c divides ab plus cd. This is the converse of this, right? So a implies b is this statement, and this implies this, that is this statement. So you need to prove both the statements, then only you can write this as by implies. That means if and only if statement. So what I'll do is I'll prove the first part, and second part is exactly similar to the first part, so I'll leave it to you. So a minus c divides ab plus cd, right? So I need to prove that a minus c divides ad plus bc. So now you see I'm doing a clever manipulation here. So I'm generating this AD plus BC. How I'm generating? I'm just adding AD plus BC and I'm subtracting AD plus BC. Fine. I can write this that A minus C divides AB plus CD plus AD plus BC minus AD plus BC, right? So now you see what I'm doing here is AD plus BC, I'm just leaving it as it is because I need to prove that A minus C divides AD plus BC. So I'm leaving it as it is. And then if you take AB minus AD, in AB minus AD, you can take A as common. So it is B minus D. And in CD minus BC, you can take minus C as common and it is again B minus D, right? So I can say that A minus C divides AD plus BC plus B minus D times A minus C, right? This is what we have got. Because in these two things, B minus D is common. So if you take B minus D as common, you'll get A minus C, right? And now you see the problem is almost done. So you can see that A minus C always divides this thing, right? Because this is a multiple of A minus C. Yes. So clearly I can say that A minus C divides A minus C into B minus D. So this implies that A minus C should also divide AD plus BC, right? Because this entire thing is a multiple of A minus C and this individually is a multiple of A minus C, then this is also a multiple of A minus C. This property we have already discussed, right? That if A divides B and A divides B plus C, this implies that A should also divide C. This is our property which we have discussed. So that is what I have used here. So you see how cleverly I manipulated. I just added AD plus BC and subtracted AD plus BC and just I got the answer. So similarly, what you do here is you need to prove that A minus C divides AB plus CD. So here you just add AB plus CD and subtract AB plus CD. And you leave this part as it is. And from here you take common and you can do it. So I'm just leaving it to you. Next, let us come to the fourth question. So you try to see this question very carefully. This will teach you many things. So this is also an if and only statement. It states that you need to prove 6 divides A plus B plus C if and only if 6 divides A cube plus B cube plus C cube. Fine. So now you see, I mean, what I'm doing this to solve is, again, you need to prove this in two parts. First part is, if 6 divides A plus B plus C, then you need to prove that 6 divides A cube plus B cube plus C cube, right? So I'll prove the first one and also the second one here. So you see that A cube plus B cube plus C cube. To prove this, I have one identity which is A cube plus B cube plus C cube minus 3ABC. This is nothing but A plus B plus C times A square plus B square plus C square minus AB minus BC minus CA. Fine. So now you know that 6 divides this A plus B plus C, right? So clearly 6 divides RHS. This is true because this itself is a multiple of 6. And we need to prove that A cube plus B cube plus C cube is divisible by 6. We already know that this entire expression on right hand side is divisible by 6. So our task is now to prove this is divisible by 6, right? So try to observe it very carefully. So I already know that 6 divides A plus B plus C into this entire expression. I'm not writing this. And I need to prove that 6 divides A cube plus B cube plus C cube. And that is nothing but 6 divides A plus B plus C into this entire thing plus 3ABC, right? A cube plus B cube plus C cube, I wrote it as A plus B plus C into this entire thing plus 3ABC. So I already know that 6 divides this, right? So further I need to prove that 6 divides 3ABC. So my problem is reduced to prove that 6 divides 3ABC. Fine. Now you see 6 divides 3ABC. This 3ABC is already a multiple of 3. So 3ABC is a multiple of 3. So 3 divides 3ABC. So now I need to prove that 2 divides ABC, right? If 3 divides, 2 divides ABC, yes. If I can prove that 2 divides ABC, then I can definitely say that ABC is a multiple of 2, and we already have a 3 here. So this entire 3ABC is a multiple of 6. So to prove that 2 is a factor of ABC, that is ABC is a multiple of 2, I need to just prove that at least one of ABC is even. Yes, if all of ABC are odd, then how can 2 be a factor of ABC, right? If at least one is even, if one is of the form 2k, then definitely I can say that ABC is a multiple of 2. So I need to prove that one of them is a multiple of 2. So how I'm doing this is, I'm doing this by contradiction. So 6 divides A plus B plus C, right? Now say if all ABC are even, so I need to prove that at least one of ABC is even. I'm trying to prove this by contradiction. I'm saying that say all ABC are odd. If all of these are odd, then A plus B plus C is also odd. Yes, because odd plus odd is again odd. So then this simply implies that 6 does not divide A plus B plus C, because 6 is an even number. How can 6 divide A plus B plus C? Right? 6 divides A plus B plus C means A plus B plus C should be even. At least it should be even. But here A plus B plus C is odd, so 6 cannot divide A plus B plus C. So this is a contradiction, right? Because it is given that 6 divides A plus B plus C. So this is a contradiction. So this means that A, B, C all can't be odd. So that is at least one of A comma B comma C must be even. Yes. So this simply means that 2 divides ABC, because if one of ABC is even, then 2 divides ABC. And this simply means that 6 divides 3ABC, right? Because here you have 3, and in ABC you will have 1, 2, right? Think that every number is nothing but product of primes. So here you already have 3, and in ABC one of the numbers will even, so you can take 2 out common. So then simply you can say that 6 divides 3ABC. So finally then I can say that 6 divides A cube plus B cube plus C cube. Okay. So I'm just repeating the first part for you. So we have assumed that 6 divides A plus B plus C, and we needed to prove that 6 divides A cube plus B cube plus C cube. So I just used this identity, and this RHS is already a multiple of 6. So I needed to prove that 3ABC is a multiple of 6. And already I have 3 here. So I needed to prove that ABC is a multiple of 2. So to prove ABC is a multiple of 2, I need to prove that at least one of ABC is even, right? Even if one of ABC is even, then clearly ABC is a multiple of 2. So I just proved this by contradiction. I assume that say all ABC are odd. Then if all are odd, then A plus B plus C is odd. But then 6 cannot divide A plus B plus C. But it is a contradiction, right? It is given that 6 divides A plus B plus C. So clearly all ABC can't be odd. That means at least one of ABC must be even. So then 2 will be a factor of ABC, and clearly 6 will divide 3 ABC. So finally 6 will divide A cube plus B cube plus C cube. This is the first part of this problem. Yes. Now let us try to prove the second part. Second part is, now we'll assume that 6 divides A cube plus B cube plus C cube, and we'll try to prove that 6 divides A plus B plus C, right? This is the second part. So try to understand this very carefully. So you'll learn many things now in this part. See, now I'm using another method. I'm not using the identity of A cube plus B cube plus C cube minus 3ABC. I'm using another method so that we can learn something new. So you see that I am considering all possible cases in which 6 can divide A cube plus B cube plus C cube. Fine. I am considering all possible cases in which 6 can divide a cube plus b cube plus c cube. Fine. So first case is, say that, I mean, a, b and c, this can be of the form 3k or 3k minus 1, 3k or 3k plus 1 or 3k minus 1, right? Any natural number or any integer can be of the form either 3k or 3k plus 1 or 3k minus 1. Now, if you see, say this is a, this is b, and this is c, right? Say all ABC are of the form 3k. Fine. So this is 3k, this is 3k, this is 3k. So then what about a cube plus b cube plus c cube? So a cube will be of the form 3l, b cube also 3l, c cube also 3l. So this will be of the form 3l. Fine. Next, if a is 3k plus 1, b is 3k plus 1, c is 3k plus 1, then a cube will be of the form 3l plus 1. This is 3m plus 1, and this is 3mn plus 1, right? A cube will be of the form this. So if you add all these, then this is again some 3 lambda plus 3. So this is a multiple of 3, right? So this is again 3 lambda. And if a is of the form 3k minus 1, b is also 3k minus 1, c is also 3k minus 1, then you'll get same. A cube will be of the form, right? A cube will be 3l minus 1 type. Yes, ax plus b whole power n is lambda into a plus b power n. Same property we are using again and again. B cube is also 3m minus 1. C cube is also 3n minus 1. So a cube plus b cube plus c cube, you can see that this is 3 multiple minus 3, which is again a multiple of 3. So this is also some 3 lambda, right? Some 3m. Fine. So you can see that whenever a, b and c are all of form 3k, or all are of form 3k plus 1, or all are of the form 3k minus 1, then only this is a multiple of 3, right? A cube plus b cube plus c cube is a multiple of 6. It means it is also a multiple of 3. Now I am saying that if all a, b, c are of the form 3k, or all of form 3k plus 1, or all of the form 3k minus 1, then only this is possible. A cube plus b cube plus c cube is 3 multiple. Say if you take different, like say if you take a as form 3k, b as of the form 3k plus 1, and say of the form 3k minus 1, then also it is possible, right? Because a cube will be of the form 3 lambda, b cube will be of the form some 3 lambda plus 1, and c cube is 3 lambda minus 1. And if you add this, you'll again plus minus 1 will get cancelled, and you will get again 3 multiple only. Yes. So this is also possible case. Next, is it possible that if you take a as form 3k, right, b as form 3k plus 1, and c as form 3k plus 1, right, then a cube plus b cube plus c cube, you can say this is 3 lambda plus 1, 3 lambda plus 1, and if you add this, this is 3 lambda plus 2, right? That is 3 lambda plus 2. That is 3 lambda plus 2 is nothing but 3 lambda minus 1. So this is not the a cube plus b cube plus c cube is not a multiple of 3 here. But since a cube plus b cube plus c cube is a multiple of 6, it should also be a multiple of 3. So this case where a is of form 3k, 3k plus 1, 3k plus 1, this possibility is rejected. This is not possible, right? And similarly 3k, 3k minus 1, 3k minus 1, this is also not possible, because if you add this a cube, b cube, c cube, you will get 3 lambda minus 2. So this is also not possible, which is again 3 lambda plus 1. This is also not possible. So if we take all are of the form same, that is 3k, 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 3k plus 1, 3k plus 1, 3k plus 1, 3k minus 1, 3k minus 1, 3k minus 1, or one from each form, right? One is of form 3k, and one among ABC is of form 3k plus 1, one among ABC of form 3k minus 1, then we'll get a cube plus b cube plus c cube as 3 multiple. So these 4 cases are only possible, right? So this is possible, this is possible, this is possible, and this is possible. So what I have concluded is, to get a cube plus b cube plus c cube is a multiple of 3, all of ABC should be of the same form, or there should be one from each form, right? One is 3k, one among ABC is 3k plus 1, and one among ABC is 3k minus 1. So this is the conclusion. In any other case, it is not possible, right? If you take one of form 3k, other two 3k plus 1, then also it is not possible. One of form 3k, other two 3k minus 1, then also it is not possible. You can take two things of form 3k, one 3k plus 1, then also it is not possible. This will be 3 lambda plus 1, a cube plus b cube plus c cube. You can take two of form 3k and one of form 3k minus 1. Then also a cube plus b cube plus c cube will get 3 lambda minus 1. Then also it is not possible. So only these cases only you can see that a cube plus b cube plus c cube is of the form 3 multiple. Then in all these cases, you can see that a plus b plus c is a multiple of 3, right? You can see this is a plus b plus c, it is a multiple of 3. A plus b plus c, you can see 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3. And a plus b plus c is a multiple of 3 here. And here also a plus b plus c is a multiple of 3, right? Plus 1 and minus 1 gets cancelled. So in all these cases, a plus b plus c is the multiple of 3, that is 3 divides a plus b plus c. So we have proved that 3 divides a plus b plus c, and we further want to prove that 2 also divides a plus b plus c. Then we can say that 3 into 2 divides a plus b plus c. Yes. So now let us prove 2 divides a plus b plus c. Yes. So this is, I mean, very easy to prove that a cube plus b cube plus c cube is a multiple of 6. So this implies that a cube plus b cube plus c cube is even. Right? This is possible if ABC all are even, right? Or one is odd and two are even. Then only this a cube plus b cube plus c cube is a even number, right? So you can see that a cube plus b cube plus c cube is even if all ABC are even, or one is odd, then a cube is odd and other two are even. Then only this can be even. So in both the cases you can see, right? In both the cases, a plus b plus c is even. That is 2 also divides a plus b plus c, right? And now yesterday only we learned one property that if a divides c and b divides c, right, then ab divides c is true if, I mean, if GCD of a comma b is 1, then I can say that ab also divides c. So we have proved 3 divides a plus b plus c, we have proved 2 divides a plus b plus c, and clearly we know that GCD of 3 comma 2 is 1. So this simply means that 3 into 2, that is 6 divides a plus b plus c. Fine. So I mean, the problem is simple, but the thing is you need to consider all the possible cases in which the given condition is true, right? First part I proved using the identity, but second part I had to consider all the cases in which the given condition, that is a cube plus b cube plus c cube, is a multiple of 6. So it should be a multiple of 3. For that I consider all the cases, and in each and every case a plus b plus c was also a multiple of 3. And similarly I considered all the case in which a cube plus b cube plus c cube is even, that is multiple of 2. And in all the cases a plus b plus c was also multiple of 2. So finally we proved that whenever a cube plus b cube plus c cube is a multiple of 3 and 2, then a plus b plus c is also multiple of 3 and 2. So it is a multiple of 6. Fine. So I hope you have understood this problem. Next, let us move to the fifth question of the first assignment. So it said that you need to find all the 6-digit integers a1, a2, a3, a4, a5, a6. Fine. Using the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 once each, right? Each digit should be used only one time, right? So each digit should be used one time means this can be 1, 3, 4, 5, 2, 6. Like this is possible. but 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is not possible because 1 is used 2 times, right? Such that A1, A2, so on AK is divisible by K, for 1 less than or equal to K less than or equal to 6. So this was a problem from RMO 1994. So when I gave you the hints for the first assignment, I have given you the hint for this problem. In that I have just explained what is the meaning of this sentence, right? He said that A1, A2, so on AK is divisible by K for 1 less than or equal to K less than or equal to 6. Let us try to decode this statement first, right? This statement. So what he is saying is, for 1 less than K less than 6, 1 less than or equal to K less than or equal to 6, this is true. What is true? That this number is divisible by K. This is true for all the numbers 1 less than K less than 6. So if K equal to 1, what is the meaning of this? If K equal to 1, then this is up to A1 only, right? A1 is divisible by 1, right? This is the meaning. If K equal to 2, if you put, this is true for 1 less than K less than 6, right? So it is true for K equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So taken for K equal to 1. So it is also true for K equal to 2. So if you put K equal to 2, it means that A1, A2 is divisible by 2. That is a multiple of K, that is 2, right? And similarly, if you put K equal to 3, then A1, A2, A3 is multiple of 3. Yes. And K equal to 4 means A1, A2, A3, A4. This is multiple of 4. And K equal to 5, it means A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. This is a multiple of 5. So you keep noting all the solutions, right? So you note down all the problems and once again you try without seeing on your own. Yes, if K equal to 6, this means A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6 is a multiple of 6. Is a multiple of 6. This is the meaning of this sentence, that A1, A2, so on AK is divisible by K for 1 less than or equal to K less than or equal to 6. So that sentence I have decoded here. Yes, if K is 1, then A1 is divisible by 1. If K is 2, A1, A2 is a multiple of 2 and so on. So this is the required conditions to hold. This condition should be true and all these, right? All these 6 conditions should be true. And this A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6 are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You need to choose A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6 from these 6 numbers only. That is also set. You need to form using these digits, and once you should use each digit. Yes, so you need to use all the digits. Each digit you can use one time. So I mean, there are so many possibilities, but the number of numbers which satisfy all these conditions, that will be very less. Let us try to see. So first what I'm saying is, since A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 is a multiple of 5, isn't it? This number is a multiple of 5. So when can this be multiple of 5? So for multiple of 5, we know that A5 must be 0 or 5, but A5 can't be 0 because we have from 1 to 6 only. So this simply means that A5 definitely should be equal to 5, right? Because this is a multiple of 5. So A5 must be 5. This thing is clear. So we are clear with this thing that A5 must be 5. Next you see A1, A2 is a multiple of 2. A1, A2, A3, A4 is divisible by 4. And A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6 is divisible by 6, right? So first thing is that this A2 must be even, then only this is divisible by 2 now. And A4 must also be even. And similarly A6 must also be even. Then only these things are possible, that this number is divisible by 4, this number is divisible by 6. Yes, some extra conditions must also be there to divisible by 4. This number A3, A4 should divisible by 4, that we all know. But this is the basic minimum condition, that A4 should definitely be even, right? And similarly A6 must also be even. So A2, A4, A6 must be even. And in 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6, right? 5 is already reserved for A5. 5 is already reserved for A5. So we are left with 5 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6. In this you can see 3 even numbers are only there, right? 3 even numbers are only there, and we want A2, A4, A6 is even. So these 3 numbers are allocated to A2, A4 and A6. So this implies A2, A4, A6 can be 2, 4 or 6. 2, 4 or 6, right? So these 3 numbers, 2, 4 and 6, these are allotted to some A2, A4 or A6, right? So final, then remaining numbers are left out are A1 and A3, and numbers are 1 and 3, right? So A1, A3 can be from 1 or 3, right? So A1 comma A3 can be either 1 or 3, either 1 or 3. Now you see, now we'll just consider all the cases. So case 1, so if A1 is equal to 1, if A1 is equal to 1, so if A1 is 1, this simply means that A3 should be 3, right? Because 1 and 3 should be distributed among A1, A3. 2, 4, 6 should be distributed among A2, A4, A6. So if A1 is 1, then definitely A3 should be 3, right? If A1 is equal to 1, so A3 is equal to 3. Now let us consider possibility for A1, A2. A1, A2 can be anything, 1, 2, 1, 4 or 1, 6, right? A2 should be from 2, 4 or 6. So A1, A2 can be 1, 2, 1, 4 or 1, 6. All are divisible by 2, no problem. Then A1, A2, A3 will be, in this case, it will be 1, 2, 3. Here it will be 1, 4, 3, and here it will be 1, 6, 3, right? Because A3 is fixed 3 only. So A1, A2, A3 will be 1, 2, 3 here, it will be 1, 4, 3 here, and it will be 1, 6, 3 here. So then you can see that A1, A2, A3 must be divisible by 3, right? That is what we said, that all these 6 conditions must be true. That is A1, A2, A3 must be a multiple of 3. So just I'm repeating again. First case we have taken that A1 is 1. This simply means that A3 must be 3 only. So if A3 is 3, then A2 can be anything 2, 4 and 6. But if A2 is 2, then A1, A2, A3 will be 1, 2, 3. If A2 is 4, then A1, A2, A3 will be 1, 4, 3. And if A2 is 6, then A1, A2, A3 will be 1, 6, 3. You can see that this is a multiple of 3, right? This is multiple of 3. This is not a multiple of 3 because 4 plus 3, 7 plus 1, 8. It is not divisible by 3. And similarly, 6 plus 3, 9 plus 1, 10. It is also not divisible by 3. So this is only the multiple of 3, right? So therefore, A2 must be 2 only. A2 must be 2 only. Otherwise, then A1, A2, A3 will fail, right? It will not be multiple of 3. Next, so A1 is 1, A2 is 2, A3 is 3. Then A4 can be 4 or 6, right? A4 can be 4 or 6, right? If A4 is 4, this means 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But this is not a multiple of 4. Is not a multiple of 4 because 34 is not a multiple of 4, right? You know the test of divisibility of 4. This 34 should be divisible by 4. That is not true. So if A4 is 6, right? So A2, A4, A6, you see that 2, 4, 6 must be distributed to A2, A4, A6. And A2 already took away our number 2. So A4 can be 4 or 6. But if A4 is 4, then this condition is failing. And if A4 is 6, then this is true, right? 1, 2, 3, 6, it is fine. It is a multiple of 4. So A4 must be 6 only. A4 must be 6 only. So then we have only one possibility. A1 is 1, A2 is 2, A2 is A3 is anyways 3. A4 must be 6 only. And A5 in the beginning we told it is 5 only. And then A6 must be 4. And you can check this number is a multiple of 6. This should also be true, no? This A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6 should be multiple of 6. You can see that this is divisible by 2 and sum of digits is divisible by 3. So this is divisible by both 2 and 3. So this is a multiple of 6. This is a multiple of 6. So this is one possibility. This is one of the possibility. So you see, if I take, we had that 1 and 3 must be distributed to A1 and A3. If A1 is equal to 1, then we got only one solution, right? we took all the cases in A11, we got only one solution. Now let us take case 2, that is A1 is 3. A1 is 3. So this simply implies A3 must be 1. So A1, A2 can be 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, right? Repeating the same process. A1, A2, A3 will be what? Here it will be 3, 2, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 6, 1. So this is not a multiple of 3 because sum is 10. 3 plus 4, 7 plus 1, 8. This is also not multiple of 3. Only this is possible. So A2 must be 2. A2 must be 2. So then we have 1, 2, 3, and A4 can be what? 4 or 6. If A4 is 4, then again, sorry, A1 is 3, right? A1 is 3, A2 is 2 only, A3 is 1. So 3, 2, 1, and A4. If A4 is 4, if A4 is 6. So 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6. So this is not a multiple of 4. So this is rejected. This is fine. This is a multiple of 4. So this implies A4 must be 6 only. So then we have our number 3, 2, 1. A4 is 6, A5 is 5 only, and left for A6 is 4 only. So you can check that this is also a multiple of 6. So finally we have only two solutions, that is 3, 2, 1, 6, 5, 4 and this number 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 4. 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 4. So these are the only two possible solutions. Only two possible solutions. Fine. So I mean, this is that you need to consider all the cases. In the previous problem and this problem, I've given such that you need to think in this way also to completely consider all the cases. Right? This is also an art. So this is the discussion of questions of assignment 1. So let us move to the question of assignment 2. So let us discuss questions of assignment 2. So in the first question, it was given that a cube is equal to b square, c square is d, and d minus a is 5. A, B, C, D are positive integers, means natural numbers. You need to find b minus c. This is the first question. So first of all, a cube, b square, these are equal. So I am saying that a must be a perfect square and b must be a perfect cube. So I can prove that also. So this b is what? It is a power 3 by 2, that is a into a power 1 by 2. That is a root a, right? So since b is what? It is natural number, right? B is natural number. So it means a root a is natural. A root a is natural number, isn't it? So a is anyways natural. This implies root a is also natural. Root a, when it is natural only when a is perfect square. It is natural when a is perfect square. Fine. And similarly, you can say, similarly, b must be perfect cube. B must be perfect cube. Or I mean, you can simply say that, I mean, even if you don't write this, from this also you can conclude that b is perfect cube. So a is perfect square, so let a is equals to t square. Let a is equal to t square, where t is a natural number, right? A cube is equal to b square is given. Yes. So then we have, this is t power 6 is b square. So b is how much? It is t cube. Fine. So now you see, c square is d we have, d minus a is 5 we have. Fine. So d, let us write it as c square, and a, let us write it as t square. This is 5. So c minus t into c plus t is 5. Yes. And 5 is a prime number. Clearly 5 is a prime number. So what are the possible cases? C plus t is 5, c minus t is 1, or c plus t is minus 5. This is not possible because c and t both are natural numbers only. So it can't be minus 5. This is not possible because c comma t both are natural numbers. One more case is c plus t is equal to 1, c minus t, this is 5. This is also not possible because c and t are natural, right? So sum will definitely be greater than product. So c plus t will be greater than c minus t. So this case is also not possible. So only possible case is this only. So let us solve this. you can get C is equals to 3 and T is equal to 2. Yes. So T is equal to 2 means A is how much? T square, that is 4. Yes. And B is nothing but it is T cube. Yes, B you got it as T cube. So this is T cube is 64. So then finally you have B minus C, that is 64 minus C is 3. So this is 61. Let us move to the second question of second assignment. So you are given two primes P and Q, two primes P and Q. Satisfy P equal to M plus N and Q equal to Mn. Q equal to Mn. Both M and N are positive integer. Both M and N are positive integer. And you need to find P power Q minus Q power P. So it is very simple. M and N are positive, Q is prime. So this is possible M equal to 1, N equal to Q, or N equal to 1, M equal to Q. These are the only case possible, right? That is M equal to Q, N equal to 1. Yes. So in both the cases, this P is M plus N, right? M plus N will be 1 plus Q only. Yes. So P minus Q is 1, where P and Q are primes. P and Q are primes. So you can see that P and Q both can't be odd because difference of odd will be even. So P comma Q both can't be odd because difference of odd is even, right? So this statement implies that. And then definitely one of PQ must be prime. One of PQ must be prime. Yes. So only prime number, one of PQ must be even. Sorry for this. This is even because both can't be odd. So one of them must be even. So then I can say that Q is even, that is 2, and P should be 3 because 3 minus 2 is 1. Yes. So then you can find P power Q minus Q power P. This is 3 power 2 minus 2 power 3, 9 minus 8, which is 1. So let us move to the third question. This is very interesting question. Third question, it is simple only. You need to find all positive integers n such that n square minus 3n plus 2 is a prime. This is a prime and n is a natural number. So this I can factorize it n minus 1, n minus 2. Yes, this is a prime. So what are the possible cases? If you take if a prime number is product of two numbers, then one of the numbers must be 1 or minus 1, right? Say if n minus 1 is 1, this means n is equal to 2, right? N is 2 means this will become 0 because n minus 2 is 0. N cube minus 3n plus 2 is 0. So this is not prime. So this case is rejected. Next case is n minus 2 equal to 1. Here n equal to 3 and n cube minus 3n plus 2 is n minus 1, n minus 2, right? So n minus 2 is 3 minus 1, 3 minus 2. So 3 minus 1, 2 into 1. This is prime. Perfect. So n equal to 3 is a solution. Yes. N equal to 3 is a solution. Let us check other cases also. That is n minus 1 equal to minus 1. So in this case, n equal to 0. Yes. But he is asking positive integers n. But this is rejected because he asked in the question n belongs to natural numbers. And last case is n minus 2 is minus 1, right? Because if a prime is product of two numbers, then one of them is 1 or minus 1. So we are just considering all the cases. So this is n equal to 1, and then n cube minus 3n plus 2 is n minus 1, n minus 2. 1 minus 1 into 1 minus 2, this is 0, but this is not a prime. So this is also rejected. So all the four cases we have considered, only one case we got the solution, n equal to 3. So n equal to 3 is only solution. So you can copy the solution. Next, let us move to the fourth question. Here it was given that P and 8P minus 1 are primes. This is given to us. Yes. And you need to prove, okay, that is required to prove. RTP means required to prove that 8p plus 1 is composite. 8p plus 1 is composite. So it is given that p and 8p minus 1 are primes. P and 8p minus 1 are primes. Yes, so let us try to prove it. So first thing is that if p is prime, okay, and p not equal to 3, then clearly 3 will not divide p, right? Because p is a prime and 3 is another prime. So how can one prime divide another different prime? Yes. And see, 3 does not divide p and 3 does not divide 8 also. Yes, because there is nothing common in 3 and 8. 8 is 2 cube. Yes. So clearly if you take 8p by 3, then also nothing will get cancelled, right? 3 does not divide p and 3 does not divide 8. So no term will get cancelled here. So I can say that 3 does not divide 8p, right? Is this clear? Because all this is true because 3 is prime. Yes, 3 is prime. So 3 does not divide another prime p. I have already considered p not equal to 3. The case of p equal to 3, I'll consider at the last, right? And 3 does not divide 8. So nothing can cancel in 3 and 2 cube and 3 and p, right? Because these are different primes. So 3 does not divide 8p. Fine. And clearly you can see that since 8p minus 1 is prime, this implies 3 does not divide 8p minus 1 also. Now consider 8p minus 1, 8p, 8p plus 1, right? You can see that these are three consecutive numbers. These are three consecutive numbers. Yes. And 8p minus 1 is not multiple of 3. And 8p is also not a multiple of 3. That we have already proved. Yes. So if you take three consecutive numbers, one of the numbers will definitely be a multiple of 3, isn't it? If you take any three, let us say 4, 5, 6, then 6 is a multiple of 3. If you take 7, 8, 9, 9 is a multiple. If you take say 11, 12, 13, then 12 is a multiple of 3. If you take three consecutive numbers, if you take three consecutive numbers, then exactly one of them will be multiple of 3, isn't it? Exactly one of them is a multiple of 3. Fine. Now you can see that 8p minus 1, 8p both are not multiple of 3. So clearly I can say that 8p must be a multiple of 3. 8p is a multiple of 3. So this implies 8p plus 1 is composite. Yes, because it is a multiple of 3. So it is composite. And let us also consider the case which you have left over. That is, let us take the case when p equal to 3. This I have left, right? In the beginning, I have just assumed that p is not 3. So if p equal to 3, clearly you can see that 8p minus 1, it is 24 minus 1, it is 23, it is prime. We needed to prove 8p plus 1 is composite. So this is 25, it is clearly composite. Yes, because you have 5 as a factor. So then definitely I can say that if p and 8p minus 1 are primes, then definitely I can say that 8p plus 1 is composite. Yes. I've done it in two cases. If p is 3, I've proved it separately. If p is not 3, then I've proved it in general way. So this is a very important idea which we have learned here, that if you take three consecutive numbers, exactly one of them will be a multiple of 3. Not only that, if you take say 7 consecutive numbers, then exactly one of them will be definitely multiple of 7. Yes. And if these two are not a multiple of 3, then definitely this is a multiple of 3, and so it was composite. So let us consider the last question of second assignment. It is given that p and p square plus 2 are primes. Yes, this is given. And it is required to prove that p cube plus 2 is also a prime. P cube plus 2 is also a prime. So see this. I mean, if you spot the idea or spot the property, then this is just a two-step solution. So first consider p is greater than 3, right? P is prime, p is greater than 3. then P is of the form 6k plus minus 1, isn't it? Any prime greater than 3, every prime greater than 3 is of form 6k plus minus 1, that we have already learned. So P square plus 2 will be what? 6k plus minus 1 whole square plus 2. So again I'm using that property that ax plus b whole power n is multiple of a plus b power n. So this is multiple of 6 plus 1 power 2 or minus 1 power 2. You will get 1 power 2 only. Yes. So this is 6 lambda plus 3. So clearly this is 3 into 2 lambda plus 1. So you can see that p square plus 2 is not a prime. P square plus 2 is not a prime only. So first of all, he said that p and p square plus 2 must be primes. I have proved that if p is greater than 3, if my prime is greater than 3, then p square plus 2 can't be prime at any cost. That I have proved. So what are the leftover cases? So then our leftover cases is for p less than 3 or equal to 3. So that is p equal to 2 and p equal to 3. Now if p equal to 2, p square plus 2 is 2 square plus 2, that is 6. It is not a prime. So this case is also rejected. Only one case is left over, that is p equal to 3. So p square plus 2 is 3 square plus 2, that is 11. So this is a prime, no problem. And we needed to prove that p cube plus 2 is a prime. So p cube plus 2 is how much? 3 cube plus 2, 27 plus 2, 29. It is a prime. Yes. So I proved that if p and p square plus 2 both are primes, in fact these both are primes only when p equal to 3, then definitely I can say that p cube plus 2 is a prime. P cube plus 2 is a prime. Yes. So whenever these two are primes, this definitely is a prime. Actually, we have proved that these two both are primes only when p equal to 3. Yes. So this is the discussion of assignment 2. Now let us discuss the questions of assignment 3. So assignment 3 was easier assignment compared to all the assignments. So let us discuss the first question. This is a problem from RMO 1998. So it stated that n is a positive integer, means n is a natural number, and p1, p2, p3, so on pn are n prime numbers. Are n prime numbers. All are larger than 5, right? All are larger than 5. Means all of these primes p1, p2 are larger than 5. And it is given that 6 divides p1 square plus p2 square plus so on plus pn square, right? All these conditions are given. Yes, so all these things are given. Now you are required to prove that 6 also divides n. So actually, I mean, this is a problem from RMO, but if you see the idea, this is just a one-step problem. Yes, this is just a one-step problem. You can solve it in a minute. So just note that all the primes greater than 5 are of form what? 6k plus minus 1. Yes. So all these p1, p2, so on, pn are of form 6k plus minus 1. So p1 square, p2 square, and so on, pn square, all will be of the form 6 lambda plus 1, right? 6k plus minus 1 whole square is nothing but 6 lambda plus 1. Yes. So 6 divides p1 square plus p2 square plus so on plus pn square. So say 6 divides, let us say p1 square is say 6 lambda 1 plus 1. Yes, p2 square is 6 lambda 2 plus 1, and so on 6 lambda n plus 1. Yes. So since all of these squares are of the form 6 lambda plus 1, so I've assumed that they are 6 lambda 1 plus 1, 6 lambda 2 plus 1, and so on 6 lambda n plus 1. So clearly I can say that 6 divides 6 of lambda 1 plus lambda 2 plus so on plus lambda n. Plus how many times you have got 1? These are n brackets, right? In each bracket you have 1. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 n times. Yes. So 6 divides 6 of lambda 1 plus lambda 2 plus so on plus lambda n plus n. You have got this expression. Now clearly 6 is a divides 6 into lambda 1 plus lambda 2 plus so on. Yes, clearly 6 divides 6 into lambda 1 plus lambda 2 plus so on. This definitely implies that 6 must divide n. Yes, we are using the property that A divides B plus C, right? A divides B plus C is given, and also A divides B, right? That is this one. This should imply that A divides C. Yes, we have learned this property, right? If A divides B and A divides C, then A divides a linear combination of B and C. This property which we have learned here. So this is a simple version of this one. Yes. So definitely 6 must divide, and that is only what we needed to prove. So let us move to the second question. Here it is given that n is not a prime. It is given n is not a prime. Yes. Now you need to prove, required to prove 2 power n minus 1 is not a prime. 2 power n minus 1 is not a prime. So this is also very simple. See, n is not a prime, so let n is equal to some a into b, where both a and b are natural numbers greater than 1, isn't it? If n is not a prime, I can write n as product of two numbers. Definitely I can do this. And both the numbers are greater than 1 also. This I can do. Yes, for example, 6 is 2 into 3, 15 is 3 into 5. You can express, right? So then 2 power n minus 1 is 2 power ab minus 1. Yes. So this I can write 2 power a whole power b minus 1. I am writing 1 power b, isn't it? So now you have learnt one thing, that x power n minus y power n is divisible by x plus x minus y. This you have learnt already. Yes, we have discussed this one. So then clearly I can say that 2 power a whole power b minus 1 power b is divisible by 2 power a minus 1, isn't it? So 2 power n minus 1 is 2 power a minus 1 into some lambda, isn't it? So you can see that 2 power a minus 1 is also greater than 1, because a is greater than 1. So 2 power a is greater than 2, and 2 power a minus 1 is greater than 1, isn't it? Because n is ab and a and b are both greater than 1. So I am saying that 2 power n is 2 power ab minus 1, and this is 2 power a whole power b minus 1 power b. So it is divisible by 2 power a minus 1. And I need to prove that this is also more than 1, right? What is the use if this is equal to 1? So I proved that 2 power a minus 1 is greater than 1 because a is greater than 1. So this is not a prime. So this is not a prime. Yes. So I think this is very clear now. And one case we have left here. If you do this, then see, if in RMO they will not ask generally these type of easy questions, but in say in any subjective exam, if this question is asked for 10 marks, and if you just leave this problem till here, then you'll get only 8 marks. You'll lose 2 marks. Why? Because the solution is not complete here. Because see, n is not a prime, you wrote n is equal to ab, but this is always true. No, in one case it is not true when n is equal to 1. Yes, if n is equal to 1, 1 is neither prime nor composite. So I can say that 1 is not a prime. In that case, 1 cannot be written as a into b, where both a and b are natural numbers greater than 1. So you have left that case, right? So this was true when n is not equal to 1. Now let us do for the second case also. So don't forget to prove completely. Yeah, do complete solution, then only you'll get full marks. So if n is equal to 1, then clearly 2 power n minus 1 is 2 minus 1 is 1, and it is not a prime, right? 1 is neither prime nor composite. 1 is not a prime. Yes. So n is equal to 1 also, 2 power n minus 1 is not prime. So now I can say that finally for all natural numbers n, now I can definitely say that if n is not a prime, then 2 power n minus 1 is not a prime. From both the cases only I can say this. Yes. So I'm just writing very quickly. So try to understand this writing, right? This is prime. Yes. Let us discuss third question of the third assignment. This is very easy. It is given that a into 2 cube into 3 square into 5 cube is b square, right? Where a and b are natural numbers. So you need to find minimum possible value of a. Minimum possible value of a. So you can see that, see, a into, let us do the squaring of remaining terms. So 2 square is there, 3 square is there, 5 square is there. Leftover thing is 2 into 3. This is b square. Yes, so a into 2 into 3 into 2 square, 3 square, 5 square. This is b square. So you see that b is a natural number. Right hand side is a perfect square, right? Right hand side is a perfect square. So this means that LHS is also a perfect square. LHS is also a perfect square. And you can clearly see that this portion is already perfect square. Yes. So this implies a into 2 into 3 is a perfect square. Right. So to make this perfect square, what can you take a is equal to? Right. Two should be paired up to make a perfect square. So a should have 2 and it should have 3. Then only you can make this a into 2 into 3 a perfect square. Yes. I think this is clear to you. If a into 2 into 3 is a perfect square, so to make this perfect square, you need one more 2, right? And to make this perfect square, you need one more 2, one more 3. So a should be having at least 2 into 3. And I mean, you can add more. You can add 5 square here. Still, it is fine. Then entire this thing will be a perfect square. You can add anything, 7 square, 11 square, anything. 11 power 4, 13 power 6, anything you can add. But you can't add 13 power 5. This is not a perfect square. Yes, you can add any even power of any prime, but you want minimum possible value of a. So we'll just find the minimum, that is minimum possible is a equal to 6, right? Minimum of a is 6. So I hope that all the solutions of all the assignments are clear to you. If in any case any of the solution is unclear, then you can ask me on WhatsApp. I can explain you via message, or we can also explain you on the phone. Yes. So the thing is, the questions which you are not able to do, you have learned the method, you have understand the idea, you have understand the technique, how to do it. Now I think you have already made the solutions of all the questions, right? And now, I mean, today or tomorrow, you try to do those questions again, or today itself, you do the questions again, which you are not able to do earlier. Yes, by seeing the solution, you think that you have already got the solution, but you do the questions on your own, you'll see that you are still getting stuck. Yes. So attempt the questions again, which you are not able to do before.